Hello and welcome to the 6th Annual Bronx Book Festival presented by The Bronx is Reading. My name is Leah Clark. My pronouns are she, her, and I am one of the co-chairs for the Bronx Book Festival Kidlit Committee. I'm thrilled to introduce this picture book storytime event for Jovita Wore Pants by Aida Salazar. Aida is an award-winning author and arts activist whose writings for adults and children explore issues of identity and social justice. She is the author of the middle grade verse novels A Seed in the Sun, The Moon Within, Land of the Cranes, the picture book anthology In the Spirit of a Dream, and the picture book biography Jovita Wore Pants, the story of a Mexican freedom fighter. Her short story, By the Light of the Moon, was adapted into a ballet production by the Sonoma Conservatory of Dance and is the first Chicana-themed ballet in history. She lives with her family of artists in a teal house in Oakland, California. And now I'm going to turn this over to Aida to share with you Jovita Wore Pants.
All right. Well, thank you so much to the Bronx Book Festival. I'm such an admirer and a fan of the good work that's being done there. And so hello and thank you so much for being here. And let's do some story time. I'm so excited to share with you Jovita. Jovita, the J is silent. So Jovita Wore Pants, the story of a Mexican freedom fighter, which is actually the story of a relative of mine. She's one of my ancestors, my distant great aunt, who is now no longer with us. But she did an incredible thing in life. She was really brave, and I want to share her story with you. Okay. So this is Molly Mendoza to the right of me. Molly Mendoza is the illustrator of the fantastic illustrations you're about to see. And I want you to know that this book was made in collaboration. I wrote the words and came up with the idea for the story, inspired by my tia, Jovita, and Molly read my words and created all of these beautiful images. All right. Jovita dreamed of wearing pants like her brothers, Ramon and Luciano. As was expected in rural Mexico in the 1910s, Abuela made Jovita and her sisters wear big skirts. Jovita hated the way they tangled like weeds around her legs as she scaled the tallest mesquite tree in Rancho Palos Blancos. She wanted to ride morongo and feel the wind curl her face into a smile. Each morning, Jovita snuck out to tend the animals on the rancho and race Ramon. When she was well out of sight, she tucked her skirts into her bloomers. With her makeshift pants, she could leap and easily outrun her brother. Together, they explored the campo. Jovita discovered the way leaves rustle when rain is coming, where healing plants grow, the shape of every cave and what might lurk inside: scorpions, coyotes, wolves, rattlers. She followed the rollicking rivers that gave fish and clean water. She listened to the songs of the sensontles and the morning doves, a gentle cuckooing. Coo, coo. As Jovita grew, she heard whispers of a revolution in Mexico. The government had made laws that took power away from the Catholic Church and prevented people from practicing religion freely. Papa joined the Cristeros, the revolutionaries fighting for their rights against the Federation, and rode into the Sierra with Luciano and Ramon. Jovita was left behind, but she dreamed of accompanying her father and brothers and riding morongo toward freedom. One day, when Jovita was out with her abuela and sisters, government soldiers came to Palos Blancos in a fiery rage. The family returned home to find ashes where their house had been and the barn still smoking. Jovita rushed Abuela and her sisters to the caves she knew so well. As soon as it was safe, they moved to another rancho where Jovita formed a plan. Of course, Jovita would make a good soldier. She was wise about the countryside, could ride better than most men, and was not afraid. The next time Papa returned from the battlefield, she made her case. Papa agreed to take Jovita, but only to observe. He would never let her fire a shot or wear pants. Jovita memorized Papa's strategies as they sat by the campfire eating what they'd hunted. Beneath a blanket of shimmering stars, she understood that La Sierra de Morones would always be their friend. When Jovita was 15, government soldiers captured her and demanded information about Papa. No matter how they hurt her, she stayed as strong as the mountain and did not give him up. With the stealth of a fox, Jovita escaped into the moonlight, finding her way home to Abuela, guided by the silvery shadows of the sierra she knew so well. Yep. Oh. Then one terrible day, soon after Jovita returned home, the government killed Luciano. In her sadness, Jovita pushed again to become a soldier, but Papa refused. Jovita, her sisters, and Abuela were scattered like pollen across Mexico, forced to live with different relatives so they could be safe. After a few years, the family reunited and the fighting calmed. Religion was practiced freely once more, but old war grudges remained. The government, still mad at Papa and his revolutionaries, found Papa and Ramon and engulfed them in a storm of bullets. Jovita never saw them alive again. Sorrow swirled inside Jovita's heart. Her sadness found sympathy with other cristeros who met one evening to form a plan for justice. When she returned, Jovita cut her long hair short. Next, she put on Ramon's cotton shirt, overalls, riding boots, and a wide-brimmed straw hat. Jovita was reborn a pants-wearing Coronel named Juan. She was ready to reignite the revolution. Juan rode into La Sierra de Morones with 80 soldiers and her dog. Her soldiers agreed if the government could kill cristeros during a time of peace, their right to practice religion was still not safe. Juan would lead them to victory. Juan knew where to graze their horses in every green, grassy field, and how to find the mesas so big they shot straight up to touch the sky. She could close her eyes and name every spring that grew out of the earth and the ways the rivers and streams wrapped like necklaces along the mountain. As Juan, Jovita could finally wear pants while breathing in the clean Sierra morning air, ready to fulfill her mission for justice. Jovita's peasant army fought dangerous battles against the powerful government. Her skills were sharp. She listened closely to her dog's warnings that the enemy was near and rode flat on her belly while shooting. Her knowledge of the secrets of the land helped them win or escape each time. They fought hard for 6 years, and finally, the Federation offered Jovita a truce. She weighed her options and thought of her loved ones. She had won many battles, but had also seen the loss of many, many lives. Jovita decided to surrender peacefully to the government. Word of Jovita's courage spread like wildfire across the Sierra. She had become so well known that a songwriter composed a corrido in her honor. President Cárdenas insisted on meeting the Coronel who had given them such a hard time on the battlefield. Jovita strode out of that room, a proud revolutionary fighter. She had surrendered one battle, but won another. She wore a wide-brimmed hat, a long-sleeved cotton shirt, riding boots, and a crisp pair of new blue jeans. She wore them well, like she always dreamed. And that is the story of Jovita Wore Pants, the story of a Mexican freedom fighter, written by me and illustrated by Molly Mendoza. And I'm going to share with you at the back of the book, if you decide to pick up this book at the library or at a bookstore, you'll see that the back of the book has a lot more information about Jovita. And this is the real Jovita. That's my tia right there, dressed as a man and the day that she surrendered to the government. Yep. And this right here, some close-ups. You could see Jovita dressed on a night town, and then also again a closer shot of her. And that dog right there is just an image of her dog that I wanted to put, and her favorite horse. And these are the mountainous regions where Jovita actually fought. And this is where I was born, in Mexico. And that's me and my son when we went to visit some years ago. And it's just, you could see the mesas, you could see how difficult it is to be and living in all of that. And here are some pictures of Jovita when she was a young woman and not dressed as a man. See, and over here are her father and one of her brothers, her grandmother who raised her, and her sister and her other brother. Again, these are the pictures on the right are actual paintings because they had to be recreated because they lost their house in the fire. And here's my connection to Jovita. This is my mother on the left as a young woman and my grandparents in the middle. The man who's seated is my grandfather Chema, and my grandfather, my great grandfather is over on the right. His father is on the left hand side, standing in the group of men. That's my great grandfather Pancho Viramontes, and the man in the middle is Jovita's is Jovita's father, Teófilo Valdovinos, which is Papa in the story. So that's Papa in the middle, and that's my great-grandfather. And they were cousins. And don't they look alike? And these men, the other man is Chema Gutierrez, and they were leaders of the Cristero Revolution in the area of Mexico where I am from. All right. And this is Jovita as an older woman. She was 88 when she passed away, and that is her gravestone right there in Mexico where she is buried. And that is it.
Aida, thank you so much for sharing Jovita War Pants with us today. And for everyone who is watching, thank you for joining us. If you would like to purchase your own copy of Jovita War Pants to share with your family, you can purchase one at www.thebronxisreading.com. Have a beautiful Sunday. Bye-bye.